All right, here's a lesson on how to create a house of cards in After Effects. We'll be using 3D layers, and this exercise is really important for just getting used to navigation and pre-comping 3D layers and knowing how to make those comps 3D. You'll see what I mean in a moment. I'm creating a new composition that's 3 seconds long, and I'm going to start by importing in 2 of these cards and dragging them into the composition icon. I've got one card that's a lot bigger, so I'll just scale it down. Okay, I'm going to have to scale the Y value independent of the X value, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but I unchecked the chain link, which allows me to scale the X and the Y independent of one another. And then I'm going to use the 3D cube icon to turn both of these layers 3D. When I change layers to 3D, I can check the position attribute and see that there's now 3 values here, a value for X, Y, and Z. If I hit the scale attribute, you can see there's also 3 values, and then rotation gives you extra values. Rotation gives you a new attribute called orientation, which has all 3 of them in one, or you can independently rotate along X, Y, or Z. Another way to double check your layer to make sure it's in 3D is to switch your view from active camera. I like to use custom view 3, but any of these custom views will work. Check it out. I switched to custom view 3 and then instantly I'm looking from an angle. I'm going to activate my camera icon, and now I can orbit around and look at the front and back. Okay, this is a double-sided card. There should be a face on one of the sides. There should be a king on one side. The reason why I don't see both sides is because I've got to offset the position. If I select both of these layers and show you the position, there's a same exact values for X, Y, and Z for both of these cards. So literally these cards are right on top of each other in 3D space. So After Effects will show you whatever card is on top. Okay, it's kind of like these 2 layers are in the exact same spot, and After Effects will not show you both. It's just going to show you what's on top. So what I'll do is I'm going to offset the bottom card by -0.1 pixels. And now I can see the face card on one side and the card on the back. To keep both of these cards together, I'm going to pre-comp them both. I'm going to pre-comp both of these 3D layers. Okay, I'm looking from an angle in custom view 3, but once I hit Shift Command C to pre-comp them, and I'm going to call this card 3D comp, you'll see that After Effects naturally just flattens it out, and I can't even orbit anymore. That's because this composition is not 3D. However, if I look for this 3D cube icon and I turn this layer 3D, all of a sudden I can now orbit around. But if I orbit to the other side, get ready, wait for it, boom. The other side of this card is not the correct image. And that's because After Effects is not respecting the 3D nature of both of the layers inside of the 3D comp. So I need to activate the Collapse Transformations button. It looks like a sun icon, and if I activate this button, After Effects will now calculate the 3D nature of the layers inside the comp. And we can see that there is indeed a back to that card. Now I'm ready to duplicate this card, and I'm going to move it to the side by hitting the letter V as in Victor. I activated the letter V. I hover over this blue cone until I see the letter Z, and then I can click and drag it over. I'd like to put a little bit of a rotation on the X value. Okay, maybe -10 degrees. Let's rotate the other one a little bit. 10 degrees in. And then I'll duplicate another one of these cards, and I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees so it's flat. Let's just move it to the top here. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I can see that there's a little bit of a gap in between these cards, so I hit the letter V, hover over the blue arrowhead, and then I can drag it downward a little bit. Okay, this is a perfect structure using 3 3D cards. Rather than continuously duplicating cards and having to rotate them, I'm just going to select all 3 of these cards and hit Shift Command C to pre-comp them together. I'll call this triple card comp. And as soon as I turn this into a composition, it's going to flatten it out. After Effects flattens it out because it's not in 3D. So if I activate the 3D cube, I turn this layer 3D, I turn the whole comp 3D, but After Effects is not calculating the 3D nature of the layers inside of the comp until I hit the Collapse Transformations button. Okay, now it looks good. I'm going to duplicate this composition, hit the letter V, hover over the arrowhead and slide it over. I'm going to duplicate, Command D to duplicate, drag the duplicate up a little bit, slide it over, hit the letter C to activate my camera icon, orbiting around. Okay, looks good. And finally, if I want to bring in 2 independent cards and give it like a sharp pointy tower, I'll drag in a 3D card comp, and I won't even see that 3D card in here because it's in 2D until I activate the 3D cube icon. Let's bring this above. Okay, I'm going to hit the letter C and orbit to the other side, just as I suspected. It's a face card on both sides because I have to activate the Collapse Transformations icon. Let's create another duplicate of that same layer. And let's rotate a little bit. Just going to push these cards together. Okay, I'll hit the letter C and now I can orbit around. Zoom out a little bit. And there's a house of cards. Please try practicing this with different graphics. Maybe you can make your own house of cards out of different types of cards. Try making it out of solids. Okay, I'm going to start a whole new exercise in a different video, how I create a 3D cube out of solids. Check that one out as well.